Hey everybody, welcome to IO Root. I am Andy. This is the very first video. We will look at building a website using AI and using what's the new term VibeCoding, which will be talking to an AI to build a website for us. The idea is I want to be able to get a product online, a digital product that we can sell using Stripe. Don't worry if you don't know what Stripe is, we're going to go through that. And we're going to host it for free. So end to end, you won't need to pay for anything and you can get up and going selling a product. Let's head over to the laptop and get started. First things first, you are going to need a code editor. Now there's plenty to choose from and you're welcome to use any of them. The AI, you're welcome to use any of the different types of AI. I am going to be using Cursor. Cursor's at this moment quite popular because it has an AI chat window built into the editor. So you can do your coding and you can chat at the same time. And it has what's called an AI agent that allows you to edit your code automatically. So you can ask it to do stuff and it will actually do it. It won't just tell you how to do it. So I'm going to be using Cursor. Now, you can do that. It's free. So if I go to pricing, there is a free part that, depending on how much you use it, I've got a pro account only because I use it quite a lot. So, but you should be able to do everything with the free hobby version. So if you go ahead and download that and install it, I'm not going to go through that right now, but the IDE is going to be essential to get up and running. The way I generally code, and I think is a good way of coding, is MVP, which is minimal viable product. So there's so many things that can happen and go wrong that it's better, in my opinion, to get something running first and then you can build upon it. Because if you have something simple that you can host or simple, whatever the project is, you get the minimal done first, you know that it works. Once it's working, then you can build upon it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the minimal website and host it for free. So let's head over to Cursor at the moment. I've got that open right here. I've got a folder called Reframer website that is where I'm going to be putting the code. All right, so I've got a new folder called Reframer website on the left hand side, and I've got my terminal open here. So you can press Command J and it will, one second, sorry, Command J, and it'll open and close the terminal. We will be doing some terminal commands, but again, I'll explain all of them as we do it. For now though, Command J opens it and closes it, and Command L opens up your prompt on the right hand side here. Okay, so this is how we chat to our AI, and on the left is where we put our files. So what I'm going to do is just create a website which is a lot smaller than you would think. So I'm going to right click and new file and call it index.html and add that file. Now in this section, this is where we edit the website. All I'm going to type is hello there. That's it. That's our website, and Command S to save it. And now we've got our file. I would like to now see this in our browser. I've got my browser open and also Finder. You can see here, this is the Reframer website, and I've got my new file called index.html. All I'm going to do is drag this onto, let's do that, drag that onto the browser, and there we go. It says hello there. That's it. So think of the Cursor as a document editor and browser as a document viewer. That's pretty much all they really are. Now, how are we going to host this, I hear you ask? And you probably saw on the browser there, we've got another website open here called GitHub. So let us talk about GitHub. Git is a very powerful program that enables coders and developers to track changes in their code. We don't really need to use it for that, even though we will a little bit. What we need to see is how can we use Git to push our code up to what's called GitHub. Now, don't worry too much about GitHub for the moment, but right now we need to know how Git works. And when I say works, literally just using the minimal part of Git. So, Git. We have a file. So on the laptop screen, you can see here, we have our index.html file. And Git is a repository. Think of it as a library. So we have our file here. So we've got our index file. And we want to save that to our Git repository. So on our laptop first. The file needs to be added to a new Git repo. So our Git repo, I'm going to draw as some shelving. Okay, so these are just shelves. Okay, so we've got some shelves, which is our Git repo. Now, to create a new Git repo, we need to do a command called git init, which is initialize. In our cursor window, in our terminal, we're going to make sure we are in the correct directory, which is our reframer website, which is great. And I'm going to type git init. And there we go, initialized empty Git repository created in here. So within our project, there we go, we've created a Git repository. Next step would be to add the file index has to go into the Git repository on a laptop. To do that, we need to do two things. First thing is you don't just add the file into the repo. You have to put it in a box first, or a commit is what we call. So let's draw our box. There. Okay, and our box, you add the file into the box, or add as much as you like into the box. So we can add one file, boom, that goes into there. Now, how do we do that? That is using the command called git add. All right, so this is git add. Now, again, let's demo that. So git add, and you can see on the command line there, you name the file that you want to add into the box. So I'm gonna just index.html. There are other wildcards. You can do all the files or whatever, which we will do later. But right now, let's just specify that one file. So git add index. Okay, it's added, so there's no errors. You can type git status, and it will show you that there's no commits yet. That's fine. But underneath, you can see that there's a new file been added to this. All right, so the box. The second step is to then commit the box to the shelving. Committing uses git commit. So the idea with a commit is you add one or more files into the box, you label the box, and then you put the box on the shelving. This is then onto there. Okay, so this is called git commit. Okay, so that's this action here. If we go back to the laptop, we've got our file, and what I'm going to do is type git commit, and then -m is message. So we're going to add a message onto the box. So -m, so effectively giving it a label. First commit. So think of it as you get more boxes on the shelving, you want to know which each box is, right? So you've got to add a label, you've got to add a message. You can't just commit with no message, because then it would just be a bunch of shelves with boxes on it that you don't know which one is which. Okay, there we go. So one file change, one insertion. So it's added that index file into the box, and the box has gone onto the shelf. And that's it. All right, so that's how you save files in Git. Pretty easy. This, at the moment, is all on our laptop. Okay, so I'm going to write up here, or computer, it's on my laptop. So the reason I'm saying that is because I want to make it clear that this is local, this is on your computer, all right? Nothing's happening on the internet yet. This is just in that particular folder with your files on your laptop. That's it. The second part of the Git process is using the cloud, so getting your code up onto the cloud. We are going to use a service called GitHub. You will need to sign up for it. It's totally free. GitHub allows us to take our files and upload it to a remote repository. So the shelving that we have is going to be duplicated online on the internet. So in your account here, you can see you'll probably, if it's a new account or you've not done any Git repos before, you will see no repositories on the left, and your home will probably be quite empty as well. However, you want to create a new repository. So click the green button, create a new repository, and just give the repository a name. So there we go. I've got autocomplete. I've called it VibeCode site. This is, yeah, that's fine. And you can add a description, VibeCoding with AI and Stripe. Once you're happy, create the repository. And there we go. So now we've got this remote repository. If I quickly go back to the whiteboard, what we've done is down, actually on the right here, we've created a GitHub on the cloud over here, and GitHub has some empty shelves. Oh, I've messed that up. All right, there we go. Okay, there's our shelving. Okay, so now there's a remote GitHub repository, some shelving ready to go. This doesn't have any boxes on it. So at the moment we have, let's say we've got one box sitting on our shelf right here. This is the first commit we've added, but there's none over in GitHub on the cloud, okay? Now, we need to connect the two together. You can see in the quick setup here, it actually duplicates the things that we've just done on the whiteboard. So we've done the git init, we've added our file, we've done our commit. The branch is changing from the default, which is called master, and it's creating a new one called main. We don't need to do that. But what we do need to do is add our remote. So this command here is the important one. This is going to connect the two. So our local version, so here, knows about here. So we can create a big arrow like that. That's our remote, so we can copy one to the other. Going back to the command window, let's add that back in. So, let's add it in. So I'm going to paste that, git remote add. It kind of, you can sort of read it. So it's adding a remote called origin. So that's going to be the name of it. And the origin is that location, which again is GitHub, your name of your user, and then the name of your repository. Enter, and it's done. So now it's created that arrow, but we haven't pushed anything down the arrow yet. Next, we need to say, right, push that particular box over to that side, or make a copy, not actually transfer it, but make a copy of that box onto the GitHub side. To do so, you can actually see this one. There we go. Git push -u origin main. Okay, so, or ours is going to be origin master if main doesn't work. Git push -origin master. This, before I run it, this is going to, so we've set up the arrow, we've set up the link between that side and that side. Now we're going to say anything that is on the shelves at the moment that has not been pushed up to here, make a copy. So we're going to take that box, we're going to go through the big arrow, and it's going to pop up on this side here. So let's press enter. And done. There we go. You can see here, we're not going to go read it really, but effectively you should get an OK, and it's all done and it's pushed up. If we head back to GitHub and refresh the page, there we go. And it's now changed. So you can see here, there's our index file. If you click the index file, you can see the code within it, and there's the hello there. All right, now we have our box on this side, and this is where we need it. Okay, so GitHub needs to have our box, so we've pushed this box up to there, and this is a git push. Okay, so that's going to remind us how to do this. We need to do this every time. So every time we have code changes, we're going to add a file to a new commit, or one or more files. There's usually, you'll commit a lot more into a box. You label the box, you put it on your shelf, and then you copy it to GitHub. That is sort of the very basic general way of doing this. We've got our file on GitHub. We have to look at getting it published. GitHub has a feature called GitHub Pages. If you head over to your settings, the settings, there's loads of them, don't worry about them all, but for now you can see there's pages on the left hand side here. A GitHub page is a hosted static site. It's a document like our index. It's only specific files, but our index file can be displayed to the world. To get that up and going, don't worry about too much of this. All you have to do is click there. Instead of none, we're going to select master. And then it's going to say what folder within there. And we've only got one, which is root. I don't know why it has docs, but that's perhaps a default. At the moment, we're just going to do the root folder and then click save. There's this thing called GitHub Actions. If you click on it, right here, you can see the little yellow thing is working, and this pages build and deployment. So GitHub is effectively looking at our repository, and it's building the pages stuff it needs, and it's going to deploy our index file onto that stuff. As that's processing, let's just diagram out the GitHub page. So we've got our box up here in our repo. Pages is, let's remove that line a little bit. We've got a space that GitHub is going to say, right, over here is our pages, our GitHub pages, and you can specify things that are here can go into pages, and then this is public viewable. This is then other people can then see that stuff. Okay, and that's it. All right, so we're just going to we've said we're going to push this into here, and our document index is part of the pages, and now people can see it. It is done, so let's click on it. You can look through it if you want to, you don't need to. However, you can see there it gives us the URL, the actual link to where it's deployed it. Click that, and there we go. There is your hosted new web page. Okay, it's not much, but it is a hosted site, and it's for free, and it's all online, and it's working. So we have our MVP. It's up on GitHub. Now's the time that we can get started with actually doing some coding and build this site out with Stripe. Let's go back into Cursor, and we can start now filling this out. So Command J, let's hide the terminal, and we're going to start using this chat window to do some vibe coding. So you don't really need to know HTML or anything else. What I'm going to do, in fact, let's zoom in slightly. I'm going to delete that for now, and I'm going to just say in the chat window, build me a tech, let's say a modern tech website where I can sell digital products online using a Stripe button. I think that should get us started. Actually, let's give it some technologies that it can use. Please use Tailwind CSS and maybe some GSAP animations. Tailwind is the name of a style framework. Let's just head over to that. So here, tailwindcss.com. There we go. This is just an easy way to build sites and style them nicely. I really like Tailwind, and they've just released their new v4.1. GSAP is a animation library, and this has just gone free for everybody. It used to be paid, but it's fantastic. So, and honestly, I don't even know GSAP. I've never really used it before. I have colleagues that have used it, that they rave on about it, but I don't know anything about that. So it'll be interesting to see how AI incorporates it. So that's GSAP, that's Tailwind, and yeah, that's all we really need to know at the moment. So back to Cursor. Please use Tailwind and GSAP animations. All right, let's see what that does. So I'm pressing enter. Oh God, we're not gonna read all of that, but it's now gonna generate some code for us. Here we go. This is our main index file. Well, this is cool. I think it's creating 3 products. We might have to remove them. It's adding some extra bits and pieces, some SVGs there, that's cool. And that's the footer and some email. Okay, that's cool. All right, and there's some GSAP stuff I can see. This is all JavaScript at the bottom. Awesome. All right. Okay, so it's done that. And it's built the site. Okay, accept that. There we go. Done. So let's head back into the browser to see the local version. So I haven't pushed this up to the remote, so this is still, so if I refresh the remote, still saying just hello there. But if we go back to our local version, so this is on our laptop, you can see this by file and then the index.html. If I refresh, hey, there is our website. So that's what it's just built. That's so cool, right? Okay, so featured products, digital store, okay, features, products, pricing. Okay, some of it's not working, I don't think. No, the pricing's not working. That's okay. But that's pretty cool for like 20 seconds, right? Let us push this up so we can see this over here, all right? So, or actually online. So we're going to head back into our terminal. Command J. Let's just hide that for the moment, and that, so you can just see the terminal. We now are going to create another commit. So we're going to add the file again, so it'll show the changes. If you remember, it was git add. If we do dot, that means just add everything. So git status, there we go, modified index.html. Okay, good to go. And then git commit -m. So we're creating our second box, and the second box is going to be, it's good to get in a habit of writing messages or labels onto your boxes that mean something. I don't always follow that, but yeah, making it meaningful is going to be helpful. So first, Vibe version of website pushed. Okay, so we've created our box, we've added our file. Now we're going to just do git push. You don't need to do the origin mask because that sets up the link. Just type git push, and there we go. Let's head back over to GitHub. If we go to the code, you can see that the name is first Vibe version of website, and it's just updated now. You can see there's now 2 commits. We can click on the 2 commits and you can see the versions. All right. And you can, this actual pending button, the action, is running again. So it's the second deployment. And again, we just wait for that to go and it will deploy up to our GitHub page. While we're waiting for that, we can go back into Cursor. And let's clean it up a little bit. So let's get rid of the terminal. So what were the things that weren't working? All right, well, maybe let's just have some images first. Let's get some images, remove 2 of these. So I only want 1 product for now. And yeah, get rid of pricing. Okay, let's do that. So, oh, wrong thing. Let's go into Cursor. Remove 2 products. I only have 1 at the moment. Also remove pricing tab, link. Also perhaps link add generated image demo imagery in. So one thing that is good with AI vibing is at the moment I'm kind of treating it as a slave. I'm just telling it to do things. It's better to get in the habit of using AI like a teammate and talking to it like a teammate. So instead of just telling it what to do, let's ask it. If you have any suggestions, please mention them. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Am I missing anything? Okay, let's see what it says. Okay, so it's going to modify the site. I don't think I saw any actual animation either. I'm not sure whether it did anything. GSAP. No. Okay, generated. I've made several improvements to the website, removed extra products, removed the pricing link, added demo imagery, enhanced the product card. Do you need setting up backend for Stripe integration? We will do that in a second, but we'll come back to that. Would you like to add a contact form? Again, not right now. Content. Okay, so it's just asking us extra things, color scheme and whatnot. We could go through this and sort of answer all those, but let's just do these questions for you. It's asked. Number 1, do you have actual product images? No, not right now. 2, would you like to customize the product description? Not at the moment. 3, do you need help setting up? Yes, but later. Are there any specific sections? No. Okay, fine. So that'll leave it, but we can accept. Okay, there we go. So I've accepted the changes. Save the file. Let's go back, refresh the page. Okay, there we go. Oh, it hasn't actually, okay, it's just added boxes. I actually want some imagery, so add images from a demo generation image website. Then that doesn't even make sense, but okay, so it's trying to add actual images. All right, let's just accept the changes. Okay, let's again have a look at the change. Hey, all right, there we go. There's some images. That's some poor images, but fine, that's okay. We can come back later. There we go. So we need to push those changes up again. So I'm going to head back into cursor, add, and then I'm going to git add dot git commit -m add imagery and single product and git push. Okay, so the workflow, okay, the second one is finished. So if we refresh on our domain here, there we go. That was the change that we made. So it's up and running. It's now going to do that third change, okay? And then we'll see the site up and going. The next step is Stripe. And Stripe is a payment processor. It's an online payment processor that allows you to take payment for a fee there's a percentage fee, so it's free to sign up. You can use the service, but there's a tiny fee depending on where you are, what country you're in, that they will take for every transaction. And most people use Stripe on their online websites for purchases. Create an account, it's free. You will need a bank account to sign up, and there'll be other little bits and pieces. It is pretty much required for this video, but you could, for all intents and purposes, use WorldPay or PayPal or one of the others if you needed to. We're going to go for Stripe because that's the one I use. Go to stripe.com, that's what it's going to look like, and we're going to then head into the dashboard. I've created a demo account and it's using IO root. So once it's up and running, all right, so we have IO root here. Now, what we're going to do is create a product and a button that allows us to click that button and people can purchase. So let's first go over to payments and payment links. So you can see here I've got a few. Reframer was the one that I used as a demo. Let's just create a new one. So new payment link, and it's going to be a product. We're going to probably have to create a new product. So new product, test product. Actually, we're going to call it Vibe product. Okay, for Vibe demo. All right, you can add an image, blah, blah, blah. One-off payment, let's just say £1. Okay, so it costs £1 for this product. And let's add it in. We are going to select the Vibe product. Oh, it's already selected. Don't really need to do anything else for now. Again, this is just to get up and going, and we can create the link. There we go. So we get this link up here. This is our real link. However, you probably want to do the same thing in test mode. So test mode, if we switch over to here, you can see you're using test data, no real transactions will be processed. So you can do the same thing. So then you'll have like a test version and then you'll have a real version. So payment links, new, let's go test Vibe product, add it, and it's going to be £1. It won't be £1, but yeah, that's how much it will report it being, even though it's test data. Test Vibe product, there we go, and then create a link. Okie doke. So we have our test version and we have our live version. Vibe product is our live one, and test Vibe product is our test one. Okie doke. So let's take that. I've just copied that onto my clipboard and I'm going to go back into Cursor. I have my Stripe link for payment. It is that. And then can you add it? Let's see the changes it makes. Oh, I see. So the initial version is trying to use the Stripe API. That's what it initially had. But now what it's going to do is use the button version, which is much shorter. Okay, let's accept that. Okay, where is it? Window location. There we go. head over back to our local version, refresh. Okay, if we click buy now, does it? Yay, there we go. There's our £1 test mode product. Okay, so we're up and running. Let's change the price, and yeah, I think let's just change the price. Price is £1. Okay, accept that. £1. Lovely. Okay, so now let's push that up with our Stripe button in test mode. You should be able to do this by now. So git add all git commit -m add Stripe button and git push. We'll let number 4 commit run to see our product. The cool thing about this is with the Stripe links, there's no secret, there's no data that needs to be encrypted or anything like that. It's literally all hosted by Stripe. So you don't need to worry about anything leaking, any data leaking, anything like that. This is the easiest way to get up and running with your product. No, it still hasn't done. So we're just going to wait for that and come back once it's done. Hey, there we are. So let's look at that. Refresh. £1. And this is on the correct domain. This is our GitHub one. And then pay now. Hey, that's our button, and it's working. So you'll be able to take payment. We now have the next issue, which is how do you then provide the product, and we're going to look at that next. And there we have a test version up and running with our test Stripe payment link, and it's deployed and published up onto GitHub. I'm going to say right now that there's a little bit of a gotcha, and the gotcha is where you go from here. And this is going to be a bit of a cop-out because the video, I don't want to go on for a really long time. The next part would be, well, how do I deliver the software? How do I get that to the people? And there are solutions that you could use. You can use paid services. So instead of Stripe, you could use, I know there's Gumroad is one. There's another one called Lemon Squeezy, I believe. So that's one route. There's another way where you could host the file on Google Cloud. You could use, had like Cloudflare, that was one, Firebase. And they have like expiring links that you could then email out. But I think that's a bit beyond the scope. I wanted to get used to just vibe coding a website and getting it up and running. You will be collecting the email address of the person when they make the payment. So from there, you could just email them, contact them, they contact you, and you send them the link. What we will do, though, is create a second thank you page to say email me or whatever to get your product. All right, so let's head back into the laptop screen. So that's the payment link. We need to go back to cursor, create a second thank you page that the user will get redirected to after successful payment. That page will say to email contact@ioroot.com for your digital product. We will be in touch also, so please watch for emails. Okay, so it's creating the thank you HTML page. Now, while it's doing that, so it's thank-u.html. If we head back into Stripe on our payment links, in fact, we'll do it on the test one. It doesn't need to be on the live one. We can change the settings. So here, edit the button, and we can say, oh, after payment. There we are. Okay, so after the payment, it'll show a confirmation page like that, or don't show confirmation page, go to our URL. So what was it? If we come back out of here, it was that. So that's our main domain, thankyou.html. Okay, the website. All right, so we'll update the link. It's not going to be published yet, so it won't go to anything, but we'll do that next. All right, back to cursor. Accept the changes. So we have our thank you page now. We can look at that. So on our local home page, so file, let's, instead of index, let's go to thankyou.html. Yay, cool. All right, and yeah, you can go back. Let's push those changes in Git. So git add dot git commit -m add thank you page and git push. Wonderful. All right, so it's now completed and we're just going to give it a test. So head back to your store and we can run the buy now. So click the button. Stripe will open. This will say that it's on test mode, and fill out the details. The payment method, you can use 42, 42, 42 and so on, any month and year, and any CVC for a test card. So 01 26 1 2 3 and 40 40 40. I'm going to blur all this out, I'm afraid. Yeah, add a name and a postal code for, yeah. Yeah, and then click on the pay button, and that should link us back to the thank you page. Boom, and there we go. Let's have a look in Stripe again. So on our payment links, if we go back to the home, yeah, stay in test mode, that's fine. Got it, and there's our payment. £1 gross volume today is £1. All right, so what you would need to do is just switch out from test mode into real and just take the URL of the real button and put that in the code. Okay, so exit test mode. Okay, there we go. It's changing while I'm using it. All right, so okay, so this is not test mode now. It doesn't have that red header. So your payment links, what we would do is the Vibe product instead of the test Vibe product. You'd just switch out this link. So you'd use this one instead of the test one. And then you wouldn't be able to actually use the test Stripe cards either. So you'd have to use real ones. but you don't really need to do it unless you really feel like paying £1 or whatever the product is. And that's it. So we're up and running. We have a website. You can obviously change this to your heart's content. You can change images. You can do whatever. But Stripe is working and it's being live. So yeah, I think that is a win. There we have it. A pretty much full website where you can customize it however you like. You can use AI to build that site. You can change things, even if you know a little bit of coding would help, and you can edit it a bit easier. You've done some terminal commands just to get the site up and running. Git and GitHub is now part of your workflow. You've used actions. And yeah, pretty much you have a Stripe website and your own custom website. Okay, there are caveats. It's not the most amazing website in the world, and yeah, it doesn't really have a good domain. It doesn't have a custom domain. It doesn't have any emailing or newsletter stuff or any of that. But we're up and going. We're getting that MVP, remember. Those things are beyond the scope of this video, but you can add DNSing. You could buy a domain and point it to this. In fact, GitHub allows you to change the domain, so it's not like that ioroot.github.io URL. It's a whatever one you want. Yeah, you could set up newsletters. You can do whatever you like. The limitation of GitHub Pages, though, is it is not a dynamic website. You don't have a database. Even though there are ways of going about it, people have created this stuff. There are online databases you can link to, and people do that. This is just a simple static site. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully you've got something from it. We've dabbled in a bit of vibe coding and a little bit of all the pieces you need to get up and running. Hopefully you can take it away and make it your own. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next project.